Hey everyone, welcome to our 8th podcast. We have today the very lovely Carla Outes, and aka the Little Fit Diablo. Anyway,
Thank you,
welcome Carla. How are you?
Doing great. I have to say it's an honor to be here. I have been behind the scenes for the first 7 podcasts, and your guests are incredible. You are awesome. I'm so glad we started this project, really, and I'm honored to be a guest here today. So thank you.
We're very honored and happy to have you too today. So, just to kind of recap, I think you've been with us almost a year.
Yes, I can't believe it.
Let's just put a little history behind that. Let's just kind of recap how we met. Yeah. I'm going to let you do some of the talking there to see, but I want some of our audience to understand a little bit of how our interaction was. Of course, I always followed you and seen your posts and stuff, on the
Which
on
was
Instagram
incredibly
and
surprising.
Else.
So, the story goes, it's actually a simple story, nothing great like I've heard in the past, but it's it's good enough. So I went to Blade Show last year with Kat, and that was actually my first Blade Show. So imagine the excitement, okay? I was so excited. Kat is trying to keep me in check here. And we stopped at Bastianelli Knives booth, because I knew Bastian. So I went to say hello, and he was like, let's walk to Microtech. I'm going to introduce you to Tony. And, my heart stopped a little bit there. You weren't around initially. So we stopped by and said hello to your team. We were, welcomed. And finally, there you come. And I'm trying to, act cool. So again, an honor. I have to pinch myself sometimes because it's interesting to me, the way life kind of puts you where you're supposed to be.
Sure.
And, knives have been a passion of mine for the last 6 years or so. So again, as I've developed this passion, I developed, this admiration for a lot of the people in the industry.
Sure.
So again, I saw you there. We had a short conversation.
We did.
Not a big deal. I left. And interestingly enough, Kat was the one that had this epiphany. And if you guys don't know Kat, she was in a few episodes ago, so check it out. But
Kat, the Turkey Slayer. That's her new name, by the way.
Turkey Slayer. Yes. We were actually just talking about you before the podcast started.
Yes.
And so she had this idea, I'm so passionate about knives, and, I think you were looking to expand your team. And she was like,
Absolutely.
I'm going to put these two together and see what happens.
It definitely came by Kat's recommendation. She's like, Carla does this, she does that. And I was like, I didn't even think about that, really.
Yeah. So she was like, you're super educated, you're driven, you love the knives. So anyway, so that's how it worked. So.
And that's the thing. I see a lot of progress in what we're doing at Microtech and just abroad. I mean, there's always a room for improvement, but I think, and I demand a lot.
Do?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I couldn't imagine working for somebody complacent.
Absolutely.
So, I look forward to you continuing to build your team. But let me talk about you for a minute.
Yeah.
There's so much cool stuff that you've done. I'm going to just touch on one particular thing. I want to talk about your military career.
Okay.
Talk to us.
Absolutely.
Badass, big equipment, Rambo.
Yeah. So I served in the military for 8 years, actually. Yeah. I joined the military a little late, as most people really just join when they're 17 or 18. I was already 23 and I already had my bachelor's degree. So I joined as a specialist, which really is not a bad rank to start with, So it was really a humbling experience, going through basic training and AIT as really an adult with her shit together, if you will.
Well, that's cool. Well, we appreciate your service for that, but
Thank you.
So what would you say was your highlight of your military career for the short amount of time?
So I wasn't a citizen of the United States at the time. So
no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my
Did you have a green card?
I had a green card, yeah.
Okay, so you weren't like illegal or nothing like that?
No, not at all.
I'm just kidding.
No. These days you can join the military as a permanent resident.
I know, I got you.
And then you get actually citizenship through the military, which, was amazing for me.
That's how my father actually got his. Yeah,
right.
So
it's a great opportunity, especially, for me, it was a way to really give back to the country for the opportunities that the country has given me. And I can, talk a little bit about that later. But so I joined the military, as a permanent resident, and I didn't have many options to choose from, although my ASVAB scores were great.
That's awesome.
They were amazing. So I was very proud for that. But truthfully, I just had a limited amount of choices because of the secret clearance situation there.
Sure.
So I landed a wheeled vehicle mechanic job, which is
no joke.
You look at me and you're like, we're a mechanic in the military.
Yeah, they got wrenches bigger than you.
Definitely.
And sockets and shit.
Yeah. And it was amazing. I was able to train with an elite group of people, and I got in kick-ass shape. And, the physical and the mental side of things were such a good experience for me.
That's
but
awesome.
also, learning something that was not in my wheelhouse. It was definitely out of comfort.
Sure.
But it was also great. The military is such a great community. And you're familiar with them, right?
Absolutely.
I know that you do a lot for the military, and you have friends in the military.
Absolutely. It's like a second family. I mean, even though I haven't served by myself, I mean, I feel I'm part of that community because of my friends, my family. The family that raised me was a Marine Corps family. So it's just like, I get that, so there's a bit of a connection, there,
The military community has been great to me. And I think that they are such an amazing family for a lot of people. And, that's why I think what Microtech does for the military, it's amazing. And we are working, in the marketing team to try to spread the message even more. But yeah, my experience in the military was actually fun.
That's
it
cool.
Was, an 8-year commitment. I was in the reserves for 8 years. And I hiked up the ranks just a little bit. And then I was in the midst of going to a warrior competition to get the Warrior of the Year competition.
Oh, nice.
And I got pregnant. So that was the end.
I'll tell you what. Not for naught, your son is a dream. I love that boy, and he is probably the most well-behaved young man, and I see where that comes from. He's definitely, out of anybody I know. I mean, he's got his shit together than most adults I know, but Jackson is a pleasure, and he is truly a genius. So I would be extremely proud of of your son. I know that you are, but what a great kid.
I'm a proud mom.
And everybody, if you want to meet Jackson, you just come to the show. Yeah. He's awesome.
He's the Microtech mascot these days.
He is.
Tony and
future engineer, CEO, I think, for sure, to some capacity. But what a wonderful young man. But yeah, tell me a little bit. I know that you'd mentioned that you weren't a full-time citizen. So let's tell everybody, where are you from? Where you come from?
I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And for those of you that don't know a lot about geography, let me enlighten you. So Argentina is really the 8th largest country in the world.
Wow.
Believe it or not. It's about a third of the size of the United States.
Holy shit.
Beautiful. And most people actually live in a concentrated region, which is really Buenos Aires city, not just province, city. So out of the 40 million people, something like 17 million live in Buenos Aires. That's where I'm from. Excellent. So, I grew up in a very busy, hectic, overpopulated city that, I grew to love, but, growing up there has its obstacles, if you will. So my parents had a plan for me. My parents wanted me to have better opportunities growing up. So they spent most of their money really on my education, which I'm incredibly thankful for. So I went to a private school that was bilingual. So when I graduated high school, I was very fluent in both, Spanish and English. So that opened so many doors for me, especially coming into the United States.
Absolutely.
Which is the best country in the entire universe. And I'm so thankful to be here.
Yeah, regardless of current affairs and stuff like that, this is still the United States. So
I agree 100%.
It's where we're at. It's where we're going to be. And it is the greatest country in the world.
And you travel a lot, Tony.
I do.
And, I can only speak really for a little bit of South America, but the world looks a lot different.
It certainly does.
And, I've seen it quite a bit growing up there, and how amazing the opportunities that people have here, right?
That's right.
I, wanted to take advantage of all those opportunities. So I didn't stop. Once I was here, oh my goodness, it was just go,
That's
go,
cool.
go, no stop.
The United States, it is a land of opportunity. Hopefully we can continue to preserve, what's happening going forward for the next generations, because a lot of people don't understand, when you do travel abroad and you get an opportunity, you have to respect customs, you have to respect people's way of thought and understanding and everything else. But there's a lot of game changing rules out there. You look at the country Argentina and stuff like that. Even though I've said it jokingly, you've had a couple really interesting state leaders.
Even I was actually talking to
you
Nick
guys think Biden's bad,
Oh my God, you have no idea. You really have no idea. It's tough. So I always encourage people to get out of the United States and see what's out there. I'm sure I will take my little guy eventually there so that he can get get some perspective.
Absolutely. It'd be wonderful to take him back where you were born and everything else to see where his roots are. I encourage that for any family out there. I mean, you know, with a lot of this COVID stuff kind of subsiding and everything else, I'm going to take some advantage to do a little bit of traveling, especially to Italy this year. So I'm excited. I'm excited in a big way. But on a brighter note, tell me, you know, it's like the little fit devil. Tell us about your fitness.
Okay. So, you know, I worked a lot in my life, right? As I was saying, you know, I left the army with a degree already. Then I went and got my master's. Then I went and got my PhD. You know, it was work nonstop. Sure. Then I got a real job at Oracle. I worked there for 7 years prior to joining Microtech.
I remember reading that, yes.
Yep. So, you know, I worked really hard. So there was a time in my life where I needed an outlet, if you will. So it was time for me to, I think, focus on myself a little bit, you know, and fitness did it for me. I say this all the time, fitness is my therapy. And I think it is for many people. So for me now, it's not only my therapy, but my lifestyle. And it is one that I live by and I will never change it.
You know, I agree with that. And that's the same thing for me is I just got to get in my mindset because actually I feel so much better. I feel so much better. I can contain my everything, just my excitement, my emotions, everything, if I can keep it in check. So, you know, I got a pretty good coach. Yeah. Coach Danny.
Coach Danny.
So he's just going to push me a little bit more, kick my ass into not freaking skipping out on the gym, especially leg day. But, you know.
You guys don't know this, but, you know, my entire team, we actually go to the gym at lunch.
I know,
Microtech
it's great.
is incredibly supportive of that. I feel like in the Microtech community, everybody's helping each other. Danny is the coach of the men, it seems like, and I help the
women. I got
it.
And he should be proud of me because, anyway, when he skipped out, I think it was Friday, Sean, I went to the gym with Sean.
You did?
And he
I see Sean there all the time.
He killed me. They have a Stairmaster for like 20 minutes. That about killed me right there.
Yeah. It's, you know, I
Sean's a beast.
I sometimes joke, you know, because we take lunch and then you go into the gym and there's Microtech
there.
It's there all over the
place. It's good. I hope when we build facilities in the future, we could put our gym in. That's one of my objectives. So
that would be amazing.
Oh, it would be wonderful. I think it's important. You know, that's part of, you know, our expansion is, you know, facilities that, you know, nobody could possibly ever dream of not working there. Right. So, I mean, Bradford's getting that facility right off the front. You know, it's like they're going to have a lunchroom. They're going to have childcare. They're going to have freaking a gym for those that could work out at that facility or would want to. We would encourage it, but those are the type of things that we're looking at.
And it's so important, Tony. So, really, you know.
Masseuse. I need a masseuse. Anybody apply for that position, please? But that would be super. That's the only other thing.
It's important, you know. For those of you who don't know, you know, my degree is in industrial organizational psychology. So I spent a lot of time researching the workplace and understanding what make people tick and you know, being productive. And a lot of big companies out there, you know, instead of having an HR department, they have sort of this, you know, industrial organizational psychologists where they develop this extensive plans that really help retain people and, you know, keep them happy and all that. So all that you're saying are top of the list.
I think that's so important. I mean, even though that, you know, for me, I don't know how else to say it. Just my bullshit filter's got like grown very small in my later part of my years, but I am empathetic towards our people. I mean, we got a great crew. You know, yes, we do push. We have to stay competitive in this industry, but that's going to be our primary focus going forward.
And I'm impressed. I mean, Microtech has grown so quickly.
Oh my God!
Even since I started, which, you know, has
there's been
a little
so
bit
much
less than a year.
growth. There's been so much growth, and that's where I hope, to be totally honest with you, is I hope that we could really touch. I mean, we're just touching the surface. I think, of where we need to be. You know, that level of you know, personal customer care, or however we do it, or that connection with the customer is really where I want to try to make a bond somehow and continue to do that. So I think, you know, whatever platform we could use or whatever means we can to reach the customers, that's why I think, you know, I'm always with you guys and hard on you guys, but it's the first point of what everybody sees, you know. So, you know, great. I mean, we deliver great products, but, you know, that first point of contact is always going to be the spearhead of our company, which is the marketing department. You know, secondly, the sales, you know, thirdly, it's going to be that customer service, which is right up front, you know, so everything else we do behind that, you know, has to be representative of where we're going to be in the next few years, you know, the next decade, you know. So.
I know. So it's definitely an exciting time for Microtech, and I'm really happy to be part of the team. And, it is a challenging job. It definitely is. There's a lot to do. There's so many projects that we're working on, and
Absolutely.
It's really exciting. I don't know if you want to share anything with the public.
I want you to go ahead.
Okay.
You should share some of the stuff you've been working on. It's amazing,
Okay, yeah. So, the marketing team does a lot for Microtech. We do anything from web design to, packaging to print, apparel. We have been developing apparel
stuff.
like crazy. Plus, we do the show planning, the PR, social media. I'm sure I'm forgetting videography, photography.
It all goes hand in foot. It's amazing. We get a lot of cooperation with the teams.
Amazing. And, we had this amazing response really when we started really focusing on developing a brand for us, something that was a little bit more streamlined, and that came from the photography and the social media.
Sure.
And taking care of packaging and all that stuff. So we're very exciting. These are exciting times, but maybe can I give a teaser?
Of course, please.
Okay, so in the next month or so, we're going to be having Microtech coffee.
Damn straight. Microtech coffee. And you know what? Not for naught. Good coffee.
Amazing coffee.
I'm not going to put our brand or put anything on that. I enjoy coffee, and I know millions of people that do.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll share. But there's a extreme uniqueness behind, the partner that we selected to go ahead and work with us as far as, creating the bean and the, the different flavors and stuff like that. I mean, great team. So that's, it's exciting.
It's really exciting. And,
it's going to be my first swing in it. And we have some other things that we're going to be doing too on that side. I'm so excited. Stay tuned, everyone.
Stay tuned.
For this
There's a lot
stuff.
going
We got
on.
some good stuff cooking for sure.
And Tony comes into marketing with a smile on his face. When you see him just getting ready to get coffee, something is coming. And here he comes with this amazing idea. I brought you guys 7 boxes of coffee for you to try, because this is what we're doing next. And we did it, and I'm very excited to try it and see what's up.
Yeah, because it was just by coincidence,
amazing.
like I said at the last sniper match that we went to. We had the team out there. It was what is it? First Nation Coffee. Am I saying that right?
One Nation Coffee.
Sorry guys, don't crucify me. One Nation Coffee, and I got an opportunity. Of course, I don't drink any kind of caffeine drinks or anything like that when I'm competing. Mm-hmm. And even up to a competition, because I gotta be alert, but I cannot be freaking fidgety either.
Right.
So like the last day, for the match, we finished our par. I think it was around maybe 1:00, and those guys were out there, and I had an opportunity to just talk with them for just a minute. It was great. And just like, dude, I could use a fucking cup of coffee. 10. I'm so tired, and it's just like, I got to talking to the guy who was underneath the tent, and it turns out it was the fucking owner or the CEO of the company. How baller is that?
That's amazing.
I was so freaking impressed.
Yep.
Not only by not having coffee for 2 days, I was a freaking lunatic anyway, but just an opportunity to say, hey man, it's my favorite hat. It's my favorite, coffee company, but I've enjoyed coffee all over the world.
Of course.
I know what appeals to me, and I hope that's the case. I think for our team had an opportunity, but just everything that they stood by, and the time that it took them to just explain, and the reason why has never been articulated to me that way. It's like, we got good coffee. No, I mean, I get that all the time. Yeah, our coffee's the best. Whatever, but I just enjoyed, just getting an education firsthand.
Right.
And it was just very informative. And it's just like, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. And by the way, wow. So it was like, hey, by the way, bro, we want to do a coffee. You think you'd fucking bake some beans for us? It's like, yeah, for Microtech? Hell yeah. So this is what we're at. So between that and the coupling and what we're going to do with the marketing team, we'll see. If anything else, it's going to be a single part of some of the programs we do have, coming forward for this year. So I'm excited.
And it's part of the development of the lifestyle portion of Microtech, which we've been trying to do since, I joined the team. So I think it will work great in our community, and
sure,
who doesn't love coffee?
Everybody really enjoys a good cup of coffee. I mean, I remember, in Vegas, there's a couple really great hotels out there, and it's like, I got an opportunity to talk to a company owner out there, and it's like, what's the secret to success? And they're like, one thing, Tony, or 2 things. But the first thing is no matter where you go in my hotel, you can get a fresh cup of coffee any hour of the day, any minute of the day.
Nice.
I was like, That's a good concept. I like that concept.
Yep.
No matter what you can get, as long as you can get a fresh cup of coffee, like a fresh cup of coffee, a real fresh cup of coffee. And went on to further explain, hey, we clean out our vats, we do all this stuff, we use the best bean, but that's, you might get a pissy drink, but you would definitely get a perfect cup of coffee. So I was like, it always stuck in my head. It's like, yeah.
The importance.
I've had some really good drinks and I've had some really shitty drinks at the casinos. But, and not all casinos are created equal, but I will say that at the Wynn Hotel, you will definitely get a very good cup of coffee for sure.
I have to try that.
Just by my own experience, so what do I know? I don't know nothing about nothing. But anyway.
I grew up not even drinking coffee. You know this because every time you come to the office, Tony gives me this look because I'm drinking yerba mate, which is an Argentinian beverage.
It looks like a bong pipe. I'm telling you right there.
And believe me, you're not the only one that thinks that, which is so funny. In my prior job, I actually have a funny story. So we were getting ready to give this, presentation to executives,
Sure.
and Oracle. So I'm trying to get all my stuff together. And I have my mate there, and I don't know what I did, but I spilled a whole bag of yerba. Yerba is the loose leaf that you put in the little gourd that you then, drink through the straw.
You drink that through a fucking gourd?
You do.
Oh,
it's
cool.
A gourd
okay, I got
with
you.
A straw.
All right, that's cool.
The whole
I'd
yerba
snarf that
package.
shit out of a freaking gourd. Why not, right?
So it already looks suspicious, The whole thing dumped all over my desk. We cleaned it as fast as we could. The people show up. And of course, I see this guy, he's introducing himself. Sure. And finally, I can see him looking behind me. And I'm like, what is he looking at right now? We forgot to clean the floor. So the floor looks like there's a bunch of weed on the... It was horrible. God. I had some explaining to do, but it was kind of a fun time.
That's funny. So... just so everybody knows, you do work with the Gun Girls, and you have been for some time. And we love working with the Gun Girls and the Women's Warriors and stuff like that. But tell us a little bit about how you got involved in that sort of thing, because that's a big deal for us, And it's having you part of that team too. Even though you got to find that happy balance of getting it done and some things like that. And I always critique, and I'm glad you always take my criticism lightly.
Yeah.
But tell us about that.
I always say, that I do better when my plate is full and it has never been empty. It's like I take something off the plate and I put something on. So I'm always busy, and it doesn't matter. I always try to do things that make me happy. So joining the Gun Girls was actually accidental. The group initially was huge, and then I got included in it, but I made a really good relationship with the current girls. And I always said, yes, I was in prior military. I shot a little bit there. I'm a fan of like rifle shooting and all that, but it's been a bit. And I didn't really, ever since I had Jack, it has been hard for me to go to the range. So I haven't had much practice, but I said, I'm all about having, a gun with you. I know enough to, feel comfortable with it. Yeah. And also I'm like, I will be the knife girl of the Gun Girls.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you have been for some time, but I encourage anytime you can get out to the range. I encourage any woman, any man, anybody that's looking at some self-preservation. I mean, this is, your rights here in the United States are not about duck hunting.
Definitely.
We're very strong 2A advocates. Everybody knows this. And I encourage training. It's so important. I have seen some shit recently that just blew my doors off.
I know.
And I'll tell you what, it makes me appreciate getting up in the morning and breathing air, because you just don't know when your time is up. God forbid. But training is key.
Even if it's dry fire.
Whichever, dry fire or whatever. But even with Jackson, I mean, I would have no problem, because we could put him on the 249 or we could put him on Miss Piggy. He all over it like white on rice. Fine. He would do it. Oh, he's awesome. But we need to get more range time, I think, for everyone.
I agree.
I encourage that.
I agree.
You can. I know that, working with the Gun Girls, you guys get a... I think a sponsorship through Remington and stuff like that. Correct. So, get that ammunition and start getting on the line and making good use of it. That would be my suggestion. And any time that you could participate, I certainly would.
Absolutely.
Because I feel it's like anything else. I mean, if you don't practice enough, it's just kind of a little bit of a degradable skill.
Yeah.
It's like when you take a week off from working out or 2 weeks off from working out, you freaking feel it when you get back.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a minute. It doesn't take forever, but it takes a minute to get back dialed in. But, Yeah, we'll definitely focus a little bit. You know, a little bit over the summer, over the fall is usually good hours for that. I would love to.
And you know, I know we talked about, you know, maybe participating in a pro-am together or something.
I think so. That would be super. Yeah, I think so. Because you could definitely do it. You could definitely do it.
I agree. And
have no doubt. You have that competitive edge anyway. So it's just like you certainly would definitely be able to crush it, I believe.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, the girl, you know, just to explain a little bit more, you know, you're working with the gun girls. You still do.
Absolutely.
You know, and but yeah, what's the biggest highlight of working with them?
You know, first, it's an amazing group of women. We just support each other so well. And, you know, just like, you know, they are incredibly supporting in maybe teaching me something that I don't know about guns. I offer the same knowledge when it comes to knives, you know.
Sure.
For most of them, you know, the knives have been kind of like a new thing. So it's great. Honestly, the transfer of information between us is amazing. And I think that we want to spread that in the community. Kat has said in the past, you know, it's something that has been overlooked. A lot of women are just not comfortable around firearms or knives for that matter. And we just want to bring that awareness. For me, you know, knives not only as a self-defense feature, they're really an accessory. I mean, at this point in time. Absolutely. So I encourage people to at least have something that's useful. You know, knives are functional, not only useful, they look good, especially Microtechs. And I feel like it's important to have something that you know that you can trust when you're in a bind.
You know what I was going to mention to you is I've been working with a couple different just briefly, just open dialogue with a couple ladies in the martial arts community that do some knife work and some things like that. What do you think about maybe doing like a workshop of having somebody come in so that we can promote that a little bit? I'd always love to learn, you know, but there's a couple heavy hitters that I've seen out there that I forgot to mention to you last week. So if you're watching, I apologize, but I'm thinking starting to do a couple workshops, you know, with a little bit of blade play, I think would be unbelievable. You know, I think it's important. Yeah. You know, we can't do it from a commercial aspect, but I think at least for our team, the gun girls, you know, and getting some of the, you know, influencers that we work with on board to take maybe a tutorial, I think it would be an amazing spot.
I agree.
What do you think about that?
I think it's incredibly important. And honestly, one of the first things that I learned when I got into knives where, you know, I started really learning about karambits and I thought that they were the coolest things. Not only
lethal as shit. Just by the way, every time I cut myself, it's either a butterfly knife or a fucking karambit.
It happens.
I don't even play with those.
I know.
I just don't.
I know. I have the trainers, you know, just in case.
That's me.
But yeah, you know, and even those with, you know, the deployment mechanism similar to like the Wave or, you know, the Bramp system, like what Bastion uses.
Sure. Yeah.
They're dangerous, but you know
they're lethal,
so fast.
Lethal as fuck. But you know, I think just doing some doing some extracurricular work with that sort of thing, I think is ideal because I'm finding more and more women, you know, are selecting a blade one way or another. What kind of blade you got today?
So today, believe it or not, you guys, you know, I'm wearing the tightest dress I could find, and you know, no boots or anything. So I carry my UTX 70. You can carry it anywhere. And Absolutely. This is one with a Damascus blade. It has a carbon fiber.
Nice.
Handle, and this was gifted to me by Tony.
Hi.
I'm surprised that it's not signed because I'm that person, you know.
If you want me to sign it, I'll sign it. That's not a big deal, but that's a cool one. And it is easy to conceal.
It really is. Yeah. I don't know if they can see it, but maybe Nick can do one of his famous B-rolls.
Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, right? Cool.
It is really cool. I actually recommend this one to women all the time.
Absolutely.
It's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, the X70s, I mean, it's one of those pieces that's been in our line for a good long while. And make no mistake, even though it's got, you know, it's not a Cali legal.
It's not.
You know, everybody, I mean, a UTX 70, you got to have a little stupid stubby blade to make it
2 inches.
Fucking California.
Come on
really?
Now.
Jesus, criminy sakes. But anyway, you know, the blade length on it is lethal enough. I mean, anybody, I mean, the neat thing about that knife is you don't see it coming.
I agree.
Yeah.
It fits in the man's watch pocket, right? The little one.
Doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. It's amazing. I mean, a cut from any of that sort of stuff would end a conversation or a fight or anything in an instant, I believe. Yeah. But yeah. So tell me, let me see what I was trying to think of.
I have a question.
Go ahead. You
so next. I see something on the table and I really need you to tell this story to everybody.
This is great stuff.
Because I already heard it, but this is incredible and I can't get enough of it.
So check this shit out. So, I always do a gun, or something along those lines, which we would. We typically would do a gun, at the end of our session and talk about a firearm out of the collection. But, we were at the Asheville Gun Show, again, my broski, Sebastian, And again, when we go to the gun shows, we're like fucking Terminators, man. We're just like, womp, 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 womp. We find stuff, goodies, knickknacks, watches, things, you know.
Yep.
We get money, we buy other money, gold, you know, guns, ammo, bullshit.
The works.
Fucking peanuts, you know, it's like a fucking carnival.
Yep.
But
I can imagine. They're fun places.
oh, it's such a good time, and we had such a great time the last time. But no, I can't remember the actual, it was before Christmas, I think the year prior. And, you know, we just happened to stop up on top of this table, and guy had a bunch of like antique watches and stuff like that, which had been fun to collect. So he had the antique watches, had some old spaghetti rifles and some other little bullshit knickknacks. And I just seen him recently. He's like, hey, man, you still got them balls? Like, hell yeah, I got them balls. So he's got these fucking balls on his table. And I'm like, you know, we were just having such a great time. I'm like, dude, what is that? He goes, I don't have a clue. And I look at Sibo. He's like, Sibo, what do you think that is? He's like, I don't know. I'm like,
Let's show them.
they look, you know what I thought? Yeah. I mean, I thought it was like to the bridle of a horse or something, or just something very decor. I don't know what I was thinking. But I felt attached to these freaking, I knew that they were ivory and they were kind of ornate.
Yeah. And
it was a complete set. And he's like, I don't know nothing about them. He goes, I don't think I even want to sell them. I was like, dude, what do you want for those freaking balls? He's like, I want $1,000. I said, I'm not going to give you $1,000.
Especially when you don't know what they are.
Sebastian's looking at him. He's like, what are you going to do with ball? I'm like, I'm going to put them on my fucking Christmas tree, bitch. We got to put up the tree this week. And he laughs. He chuckles. He's like, okay, we're going to put the ball on the tree. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so I was like, dude, I'll give you $500 for these. And he's like, $650. I was like, all right, man. Cool. Done. Boom. So I bring these things home. And at the time I had, I don't know. Anyway, my ex-girlfriend's mom, her name's Myrna, by the way, and she's a little weird, but what she is she is a fucking expert when it comes to antiquities.
Yeah.
That's her kung fu. Her and her fiance Robert do an amazing job hunting and just destroying antiques. So I brought those home, and she had just happened. She's like, what'd you get at the show today? And I'm like, I got these fucking balls. And I think they're old. And she's like, she looks at them. She's like, do you mind if I take a look at those for a little bit? It's like, hey, knock yourself out, you know? She's like, well, I'm just going to take a look for a little while. This woman, I mean, I don't know how she does it, but she must have been up all night. Fucking researching. She goes, and she got that really deep Southern slur. She's like, Tony, I think that's a weapon. I'm like, Myrna, quit smoking it. But 100% she was right.
Yep.
The next morning, you know, she had given me all these printouts from all this stuff and showed me a set of these that were auctioned off at like Christie's or some shit, and are out of the Metropolitan Museum. Apparently, what they are...
They're boleadoras.
Yes, they are from...
Argentina.
Yes, by a very, very famous bolo maker. And it was neat because I remember it's just like, she's like, Tony, I'll give you $5,000 for these right now. And I'm like, no, Ma. I want to put them on. She's like, what are you going to do with these? I'm going to put them on the Christmas tree. Sure enough.
That is the best, you know.
Yeah, it was neat. But she got all the data, and apparently this maker is very rare. And
I can imagine.
There's only a few known sets of these, but thank you, Myrna, on that one there, because like I said, you won't find a more just diabolical lady. When it comes to freaking antiques, was on it like wide around. I got a stack of really good information in regards to the maker, when they were made, how many have been sold in the United States or displayed.
Right.
But very, very cool. So I thought I would share the story, and it's just a great freaking
They're
find.
amazing. And, you know, I don't know if they were, popular in the United States, but...
There's no telling.
So these, for those of you who don't know about boleadoras, they were used really by gauchos in Argentina. They come with a rope, and then you just tangle them together and throw it at the cattle, and that's how you
knock them out or drop them or do whatever. But these are really cool.
It's a pseudo sport.
Oh, big time.
Believe it or not.
But it was a neat find, and like I said, I would never guessed in a million years. I would have bet her money. A weapon of what? A weapon. She was right.
You know, Tony has the biggest collection of cool things. Really, it's just amazing. If you have the chance to really come to this place, he has an amazing library full of stuff. That's probably my most favorite item. But you do have plenty of things.
There's a couple little cool stories, but that's a neat story because it was a neat find.
Absolutely.
They're in mint condition. The guy that has them, he didn't even know what the hell they were. He's like, I got them. I bought them with these fucking, old rifles or whatever. An old lady had them or whatever.
So I know a lot of people asked you about, your most favorite weapon, but I want to ask you, what is your most favorite collectible item from your library, from your collection that you have?
Oh man, that's a really, really tough one. Oh, what? Oh, wait a minute. No, that's a memento.
He's getting help.
I'm going to have to show that one. One of the guys had mentioned, we'll talk about that in another episode. I'm definitely going to have to show that one, but that's a memento and a story that you would love. Has to do with Land O'Lakes. Love that butter, by the way. They took the Indian off the freaking cart and go freaking figure because of me. Anyway, but yes, that's for another story. But man, it's really tough because I have so many little stories of different knickknacks and different things. It's hard to really place like a favorite. There's a couple up there. This is a close one because it's got a neat story.
It's pretty neat. Yeah.
Some of the different things that I've managed to collect over the time of travel, or, maybe a piece or two that Sebastian and I maybe acquired over our adventures. There's always kind of a neat thing, but there's stories behind, and that's when you see in my library, yes, I buy some stuff here and there, but there's a story. There's got to be some kind of fucking story behind everything.
Oh, absolutely.
To run the merit to get it. If it appeals to me, that's great, but a lot of people are like, you must have this, you must have that. It's just like people could assume whatever, but I like what appeals to my, but if it's got a unique story or something along those lines. But there's a couple neat things, that come up into that top category, but it's hard to place a single one favorite.
That's okay. Well, I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
So Tony's house is amazing. It's incredible. You only can see this setup, which is, the podcast area, but the house is amazing and it reflects Tony's personality and really, as he says, his kung fu.
My kung fu.
So if you don't mind, because I know this question has not been asked before, I want to know how you went about designing this and just maybe tell the story about what you wanted to accomplish here.
It started out, like I said, prior to my divorce, which was unfortunate, but, I worked this bottom area of the basement and out of my travels, anywhere I've ever traveled, I would always find something that really appealed to me. Yeah. And it was mostly older architecture or mostly cathedrals, churches, stuff like that which would always have this unbelievable, unrealistic, you'd walk in and it's just like, how in the world did human hands even make this?
Agreed.
And I would find something that would appeal to me, a type of wood, a type of flooring, a type of masonry or something along those lines. So, I wanted to create that similar type of atmosphere. I've always felt like I was born in the wrong century, maybe, I don't know. But the 18th century, 17th century, 18th century type goth style is what I like.
It's really nice.
So a combination of modern and combination of flow that works with that is how I styled this home. So the home is unique in a lot of ways. The property is unique in a lot of ways. So, it was one of those things that, even on the, upset of my divorce and everything else, we had plenty of properties and monies. I wanted this house back. It had a little bit of sentimental feel to me. And it took almost 2 years to remodel this place exactly, and I'm still working it just a little bit. But the whole idea is a working library and a working a kind of a dwelling or like I said, an extension of my personality.
Absolutely.
For anybody that doesn't get that or can call bullshit or whatever, that's fine. But this is my home. You can see it
clearly though.
Yeah, it's my home. It's my sanctuary. And it won't be the last home I have or other homes abroad, but this is one that I really enjoy. I enjoyed a whole bunch and that continuation to find unique things on my travels. Because when the COVID thing hit, it was like, oh my God, are we ever going to get a chance to travel again? And I got nervous there for a little bit. Yeah. I was like, fuck, man. I mean, this could be it. We could be grounded for some time. So now it's just, I take a different approach, even going to the shows, even people that I might have had Discord for or anything else, I make it a point to try to reach out. That doesn't mean that, I forgive you for something you've done bad to me, but I will be the first to extend my hand because I'm so thankful for everybody and thankful to be able to get out and do the travels. But no, the house took years off my life to do this because the fucking contractors, nobody took, some of the designers and stuff took me serious, and everybody enjoyed it because it was like out of the departure of what you normally see.
Yep.
You know, and I remember the guy specifically who could share my vision. His name was Javier Arcadia, and he was from Mexico. He's a U.S. citizen, but man, what a great artist. Fucking pain in the ass, like a Picasso, and he couldn't work with anybody.
Right.
He could barely work with himself. And it's just like, even for me, it's just like he'd let me in my own house for just a small amount of time, and then he'd fucking ask me to leave. You know, it's just like, you need to leave me the fuck alone if you ever want me to get this done. And it's like, I got you. But scaffolding throughout the entire house, amazing architecture and work. And we changed everything, you know, but it was a vision. It was a vision, but it was mostly articulated from, like the upstairs, nothing is as grand as the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. I love that. I fell in love with it, and I cried when it burnt. But I stole some of the architecture from there from my living room, the ceiling and the archways and stuff like that, because it was absolutely one of my cherished favorites. But I don't know. Now that I think about it, getting back to some of my, you know, little personalized mementos, I'm going to say one that runs really close to my heart is I just picked up an old-fashioned, I think it was from the late 1700s. It was a pocket watch.
There you go.
I don't know. This thing speaks to me in such a way. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just, it talks to me. And
so
it's just,
is it a special design or a special
The design
material?
it's a gold one. It's a gold watch. And it just, when I looked at it, I was like, my God. I mean, I don't know why I like this sort of thing, but it was a very unique piece. It's always good when you can carry something. You know, granted, I love some of the armor, I love my swords, but I'm not going to be walking around with a fucking sword in my pants. But a pocket watch from that time period and era. Yeah, and I picked up even another one. It had a little inscription, you know, to somebody's love, and it was just like,
that's sweet.
It was heart touching. Yeah, so
very nice.
Little things like that, just like. But as of right now, I'm gonna say that one really kind of speaks to me in such a way.
I would love to see it later.
I will show it for sure. But anyway. You know what? I think that that might do it. Hey, sponsors tonight. Core Water, the only core water, or the only water that doesn't give me heartburn.
Yep.
It's very good. Of course, Topo Chico, our favorite mineral water.
I hope they watch this at some point.
Don Julio 1942 for a first place for tonight. So cheers to you.
I did a good job, I think.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Come on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tony.
You bet, hon.
This was fun.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Good. Thank you. Look forward to the next one.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Ciao.